Hi, today we're going to do something different. We're going to disassemble this Canon G7x. There's an issue with it, that the lens won't come out. It was stuck the other day. I opened it up and it went back in, and now it won't come back out again. So I need to take it apart again. Also in this video I'll show you how to get rid of all the dust on the inside of the lens without drilling holes in it. So first we start by removing the back. Now some of these screws are a bit different because this is a second-hand camera and some bits were missing and I've already had to fix it. The best idea is when you take the screws out, put them in order so you can put them back in where they came from. Now, you should be scared about taking cameras apart. There's nothing to worry about. The only thing you have to watch out for is the capacitor for the flash and the sensor. So that's all the screws off the back. We've got two on the side. And on this side there's two here and there's another one under here. And these are different sizes, so remember what order they came out on. In case anybody's wondering, the one that's in the middle is longer. Now on the bottom, take the battery out. SD card. And inside here, which you can't really tell, there is a screw right down the bottom. And also 4 other screws on the bottom. And the plate just comes off. Now before I go any further, I'll explain about the front. So normally you'd turn it on, lens will come out, and then clip the battery out so the lens stays out, and then you have to do is just pull this cover off. It just lifts off. And now you've got the flaps that cover the lens. So these just unclip. 3 on each side. Just have to worry about watch out for the springs. Try and keep them in order. Once I've got these off, I'll explain how to clean the dust off the lens without drilling holes in it. Yeah. So that's the metal flaps off. Now under here, when the lens is actually out and open, this bit is held in with bits of glue. Which I can't show you until later on. But all you do is you pick out the glue, and then this front lens comes off. And then you can clean both sides of it, put it back down, and then just glue it back in. That's it. You don't have to drill holes in it and put cotton buds or Q-tips or whatever you call them inside it. Dead easy. Right, I'll continue on with the rest of the removal. Now this back bit should just lift straight off. To watch out for the ribbon cable. And then this bit, push the camera flash, and this bit just lifts up. Also, there's ribbon cables to watch out for. They just clip up, little tabs, they just lift off. You have to wiggle it to get it out past it. And that's the top bit. Now the bit that I need to get to is under all this, the mechanism for turning this bit. It's also the same way to clean the back of the sensor. You have to take everything apart, which we shall start around the front. Keeping all the screws separate. It might also help to take a photo of the screws and where they all are, so when you put it back together again, you know which way they go. So there's 3 on the front here. And then the front comes off. There's also a little ribbon cable under here you have to watch out for on the side, and it just pulls down, and that's that off. Now that's the capacitor. You have to watch out for that bit because that can give you a nasty shock. Side bit's just unclip. And on this end, there's a little screw up here. Take that one off too. and that just wiggles and lifts off. And we'll keep that with that other screw so we know what it is for. Now under here, there's only one you need to take off, and that's this one here. There's quite a few bit on the back to take off. It's always handy keeping the parts that can remove with their screws. And this is also, do these just lift up? And the ribbon cables slide underneath. Sorry, I'm just drinking coffee at the same time. Now, we need to remove all the screws off the back. They're mainly all the same size. The odd one I think might be a bit smaller. Which say just try and keep them in order. Leave these screws for now because that's what holds the sensor to the lens. I think I've got them all. There might be one more. There's one more on the top. That just lifts off. And we'll just lift up the ribbon cable. A bit at the bottom. So that unclips from there. And then all this comes off. Now, what I did do is when I was taking the back plate off, I left this screw in place. Can you see it? Because that one is the mechanism for the camera flash, and that's a pain to get back in again. Right, so now your camera is almost in 3 pieces. Just a couple of cables holding it all together. and that's the main lens mechanism. Now if you've cleaned this and there's still spots on it, you can remove this. Now these screws were covered in glue the last time, so I had to undo that, and then this bit comes off. Now behind here is the sensor, and if you're very careful you can clean that, because you'll find that the dust on these models gets all down in this inside and gets in between the lens. Now for this I have to take even further apart, because the cog on the motor on here isn't connecting to the wheel that makes it come out. So I've got there's 3 screws on here. Right. Next we have to undo all these ribbon cables. And the side clips. Just be very careful. Don't tug it, don't yank it. Now if you watch what you're doing, you can peel it back and then open it. There you are. So that's your sensor. So don't put your fingers on that. And this is my issue why it's not coming out. It's because this isn't catching on here. So if I pull this out, and then I can show you. See, it just pings off. And this is just held down with glue. You pull off this rubber strip on the front and there's glue over the screws, and that's all you have to do. So now you blow the dust out here and then put it all back together again. And hopefully it works this time. And hopefully you can follow my guide and it will help you clean the dust out of your Canon camera. Now we're almost back together. Now the bit that I had to sort to fix this to make it come back out again was the motor here. So once it's all off, you can gently push this back and you can turn this outer wheel and it'll move this in and out. And it's just a case of trial and error to make sure I get it back in the right position, and then just keep turning it on and then back off again, and it should sort itself out. So if you ever have it on a tripod and the tripod falls over and it knocks the lens, then that's what you have to do. So I shall finish putting it back together It's basically just a reverse of how I took it apart, and then we'll show you it all working again afterwards. Right, now I've fixed it, put it all back together again. I've still got this bit to do, but I shall show you how to properly clean the lens. So now that I can turn it on and the lens comes out and stays out, what I was saying was take the battery out, that way it doesn't turn off and the lens stays up. Now behind here there's a little slidey bit, you just turn that and that just lifts off, and then under here there's a little rubber disc that you can just lift off. There we go. Now what you have to do is here, 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 here and here is all glued in. Now if you get a small screwdriver you can pick the glue out and then the lens comes away and you can clean both sides of it, blow the inside out, put it back in again and then stick it back down. And I use this stuff. People use it for sticking mobile phone screens down, but it's also good for that too. And that's it. That's how you get rid of the fluff and the dust out of the lens. And say if you drop it on its lens and it gets stuck, then that's how to take it all apart and then hopefully be able to fix it and work it again. So in order to put it back, to get the lens back in again, you just put your battery back in, turn it on, and then turn it off and back in. You can put it all back together again, and that's it. That's it, all back together, all working. Comes on. So hope you guys can benefit from this tutorial. Let me know in the comments if it helps you out, and feel free to check out the rest of my other videos, and I'll catch you again soon.